Welcome back to Prime. We are here with North Texas' biggest movie critics, Chris Wagner and Stephen Becker. We've already talked blockbusters. We are going to talk about indie films. So what classifies as an indie film, Chris?
God, these days, that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, the fact that these smaller films are coming out in the summer is, that's a little bit odd in itself. And a real indie film is made for almost no money and doesn't even have a distributor. So, we have to sort of qualify what we're calling indie in this conversation.
Well, and we're going to talk about, Sofia Coppola's The Bling Ring later. But for example, I mean, she is not this is classed as an indie film, but she's so well known.
Yeah,
well,
she makes art films. I mean, sorry, Stephen, she makes films that aren't really mega budget and that have a story and that have a sort of provocative point of view.
Right.
I just defined what I think an indie film is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, indie film is more of a sensibility than anything at this point, and it's frankly more of a marketing tool.
Yes.
It's a way to say this is a movie that is not a blockbuster, but is maybe more worth your time because it's going to be different than all of those other movies.
Right, that's interesting. And we're going to start off with, one of the directors who always forges his own path, Woody Allen. Blue Jasmine. That was, I think, one of your picks for the summer.
Yeah, and I'm not, which is not to say that I'm telling you it's going to be great.
Right.
But it is a film that I'm intrigued by. Almost nothing is known about the plot. Yeah, he is back in the U.S. I think this film takes place both in New York and San Francisco.
Yep.
We know that it stars Kate Blanchett and Alec Baldwin and Louis C.K., actually, which is interesting. But I'm more interested in this film because Woody Allen's on this really up and down roller coaster that he's been on, for at least the last 10 years. And for every solid summer movie he makes, like Vicky Cristina Barcelona or Midnight in Paris, there's a To Rome with Love or a whole laundry list of movies that you should avoid. So the question for this one is going to be, is it one of the highs or one of the lows?
There will still be a lot of anticipation about it because of him and because of the cast.
Sure, and he always manages to get essentially anyone he wants to be in his movies. And if you got a movie with Alec Baldwin and Kate Blanchett, I mean, that already seems like a must-see.
Right.
Whether or not he's able to do anything with them remains to be seen.
We will see for that one. So one of the big ones that you both really like, The Kings of Summer. Chris, tell us about that.
Actually played at the Dallas International Film Festival recently. It's a story about three teenagers who kind of reach that point, I think we all reach, where we realize our parents are sort of insane, at least from the adolescent standpoint, and they go off into the forest and sort of build their own little world, including a sort of rickety little house, and eventually tensions start arising. But it's about kids escaping adolescent life, and it's just a really nicely observed, well acted, and actually quite funny little film that has some serious sides to it as well.
Well, let's take a look. I wish when I was a teenager I went and built a house in the woods. Let's take a look. The Kings of Summer.
What could you be showing me in the woods right now?
This is the side of our new house, man.
What, like a tree house?
No, like a real house. No parents, no one telling us what to do. We make the rules.
Hold on, what is this kid doing here?
I'm afraid to tell him to leave. I don't know what he's capable of. Patrick, Biagio, the forest is ours. No one will find us out here. Chances of being born.
Do you think that Joe would run away to prove a point?
We don't know that they've run away.
You're right, it's a classic kidnapping. They took our children and the canned goods and pasta.
Take some heart being born and quite so young. We do swear to never speak of this enterprise to any adult. To be our own men. To boil our own water and kill our own food.
I'm surprised you found a live chicken in these woods.
Yep. Joe, what are we gonna tell our parents?
My name is Jamal Colorado, and I have kidnapped your son.
Ann Fernie, Texas. Deshaun, Utah.
Oh, I love it. It looks fabulous.
One of the real enjoyable things about this film is it has a real timeless quality to it. There's even a scene where each of the kids has a different phone, for example, and one has an iPhone, one has a Palm Pilot, and one has a pager, I think. But what I really like about it is that this is just what boys do with empty time during the summer. You know, the whole like go out and I don't want to see you till dinner time idea that I think a lot of us had as kids.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will remember that time where you had nothing but time to just go out and invent something fun to do.
And it's got some really nice adult turns as well. Nick Offerman, we saw in the clip right there, plays one of the dads who's sort of getting over a trauma, but he's very, very funny because he's Nick Offerman, and he's pretty much always very, very funny. So you have a lot of the grown-up actors doing bits throughout the movie, which is actually a lot of fun.
So will this be, do you think an awards contender or not?
No, but I think it'll have a nice sort of cultish following, and I think adults will go see it because I do think this is sort of the definition of a kids movie for adults. It has swearing, for instance. Heaven forbid.
It has swearing.
Yes, it does.
So, as we mentioned earlier, Sofia Coppola, the Bling Ring, that has a lot of star power attached to it. So, tell me what you think about that.
Well, it's based on a true story of some spoiled LA kids who decide they want to get closer to the whole celebrity scene by robbing celebrities' houses in the Hollywood Hills. But really what attracts me to it is Sofia Coppola, because I think she's just a very provocative filmmaker. She always has an interesting take on things. I love the combination of this particular story and her filmmaking ability, and she really has a way of looking at the celebrity world from a sort of a jaundiced but at the same time very amusing standpoint. That's really what's pulling me toward it. And plus Emma Watson. Isn't it your friend Emma Watson is in this
I know,
film.
and she looks fabulous. She was very excited when she was doing that.
Sofia Coppola is such an interesting choice. I mean, I guess she probably came up with the movie, but you know, having come from that world, obviously, growing up in Hollywood and being so ingrained in that society, she's gonna, I think, have the best perspective for which to tell the story.
But then, and because of that, she's allowed to do it.
Sure.
You know, because she has that perspective. Well, let's take a quick look at the Bling Ring.
Awesome. Oh my god! That's a cute dress. Did you get a new dress?
We had so many beautiful things.
Oh, look great. I bet you want to.
Ladies?
He looks hot.
I hear helicopters.
We're in LA. Don't be such a little. You're stressing me out.
Oh my god. Are they gone?
Police are investigating the connection of the Hollywood Hills burglaries.
America has this sick fascination with a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
It all comes back to like bad choices. Who you have as your friend.
You can't take your dog.
But he likes me.
So that is definitely one to watch. And moving from the Bling Ring to something that's so completely different is the Act of Killing, the documentary about the Indonesian death squads.
Yeah, this is a film that I've wanted to see ever since it started playing festivals last year. I haven't seen it yet, but it just sounds very audacious. It's a documentary in which Indonesian death squad members who killed a lot of people are talked into reenacting murders in the guise of some of their favorite Hollywood movies. It just sounds so weird. And it's produced by Errol Morris and Werner Herzog, who are pretty much, I think, the two best. I mean, you can't really say, there's so many good documentary filmmakers out, but they're among the very best documentary visionaries that we have now. So I'm thinking if they put their names on this, their stamp of approval, then it's got to be something pretty special.
But it even blows my mind to think about the fact that people can delight in reenacting these atrocities.
I think that's the juxtaposition and the irony that fuels this film. That's what I'm hoping anyway.
Well, and it's kind of the epitome of counter-programming too. You know, if you are not in the mood to maybe see the next big popcorn movie, at least there's maybe something that's a little more, you know, thought-provoking out there.
I think it speaks to the popularity of documentary, that they can come out really any time of year now and hopefully get an audience. They are no longer confined to an art film season.
Right. So we have touched upon blockbusters and we touched upon indies, and when we come back, I want to talk to you two about a few questions about what your favorite things are in the summer movies and beyond. So stay with us. We will be right back.